What's going on, guys? JPS back for another video, and today I'm going to be reacting to Geography Now Austria. So, Austria, this is a country I'm going to be visiting for the first time this summer. There's a few other places as well I will be revealing later prior to my departure, but I'm very excited to be visiting Austria for the first time, and I figured now would be a perfect time to react to a video about Austria. So I'm pretty sure the majority of Austrians speak German, but there is a bit of a dialect or some vocab that is only used in Austria. I've met some Austrians before, incredibly friendly, easygoing, down-to-earth people. Not that Germans aren't, but you know, like Austrians are just so chill. And I'm basing that off of a few experiences. I haven't been there yet. Obviously, I'm visiting the country for a reason. I wouldn't go if I didn't really want to. So yeah, they're definitely going to be making some travel vlogs in Austria this summer. So make sure you subscribe if you aren't already so you don't miss them. But let's get straight into this and learn some more about the country. Here we go.
Also nicht vergessen, wann's nach Österreich kommst, aber wann's Deutsch reden, nennt es nicht Deutsch.
It's time to learn geography.
And I've already mentioned Germany, and I know. I'm sorry, guys. It was inevitable.
Learn geography now.
Hey peeps, I'm your host Paul Barbato. Let's dissect the flag. The flag is one of the oldest used flags of Europe. Disputably, legend has it that the flag comes from the Siege of Acre after Leopold V came back from battle and removed his belt with his blood-soaked tunic, leaving a red-white banner. Keep in mind that the Austrian flag looks very similar to the flag of Latvia. However, the Latvian flag has unequal-sized bands and is a darker shade of red. Keep in mind, many other countries in the Eastern European region, specifically the Pan-Slavic areas, still retain a part or complete version of the white-red pattern on their flags, like Austria. We'll explain a little bit more about this, but first, let's talk about the borders. In terms of its location, Austria is landlocked, bordered by 8 other countries, don't forget Liechtenstein, in the Central European region, with the Alps dominating 3/4 of the country in the west and in the center. The country is divided into 9 states, although it's kind of funny because the state of Lower Austria is technically a little higher than Upper Austria geographically. The capital and the largest city is Vienna, located on the eastern side of the country, where 1 out of every 8 Austrians can be found. The city is a wonderful assimilation of centuries-old stone churches, palaces, opera houses, and monuments, as well as modern high-rises, skyscrapers, and business offices. Oh, and there's dozens of castles speckled throughout the entire country. Remember how in the Albania video I told you play that whole find the bunker game? Well, in Austria, it's kind of like find the castle game. As a member of the EU, Austria's borders are pretty open with all of its neighbors and are pretty much virtually invisible with the exception of the occasional river or mountain blocking the...
Austria is also in an amazing location in Europe. Oh my God, it's central to so much. You could say that about not every place in Europe, actually. No, that's not true. I've also heard about the coffee houses in Vienna, so let me know if I should do that. I'm sure, please, guys, if you haven't already, please give me travel recommendations, things to do. Obviously, I'm planning to go there, but I haven't really filled up my itinerary with what I'm going to be doing when I'm there. So feel free to drop things, guys. Maybe I'll do what you say. That sounded kind of weird. Okay, let's go.
Way. The only controversy it really has is in the South Tyrol region, which historically belonged to a number of different kingdoms and empires, but for a long while it belonged to the House of Habsburg, a historically fascinating lineage that would eventually play a pivotal role in providing half of Europe with all of their monarchical lineages. In short, it kind of initially belonged to half of Europe with all of the...
This guy looks so creepy. Eyes just fully white. That's an overexposed photo. I mean, it's old, so yeah.
In short, it kind of initially belonged to Austria. However, after the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye in 1919, the entire southern part of this region was kind of reluctantly given to the Kingdom of Italy. This explains why Austria has a relatively narrow eastern parameter that stretches into the Alps, as the South Tyrol region, which previously gave the country a wider range of dominion, was ceded to Italy. Austria was kind of like, okay, Italy, we'll give you this piece of land, but, you know, just a little heads up, pretty much everybody in there is Austrian, and they speak German, and they kind of want to be part of Austria. But hey, it's all yours. The most confusing part of the region, though, would have to be the Jungholz enclave. Located right on the border of the Bavarian region of southern Germany, this place only has about 300 people, separated into 4 small towns. This area is strange because it is one of Europe's only 3 quadrupoint borders and is technically joined by Austria by only a small narrow corridor, only a few meters wide on the top of the adjacent Zugspofen mountain that crosses over into the Austria side. Otherwise, the only way to get into Austria from this region is by driving through through Germany. This means that if you don't want to go through Germany to get into Austria from this region, the only way is to literally climb to the top of the Sochstrofen mountain to the very point where the four borders meet and climb all the way down to the rest of Austria. Since the 19th century, the borders have been literally marked every single step of the way, and the top has a markstone that distinguishes the narrow crossing. Believe it or not, this is actually a common hike that a lot of people take, despite the fact that many of them don't even...
It looks beautiful though. I wonder, can we get the why that's the case? Why is there still that little, yeah? Why is that not just Germany? They fought, the villagers were like, no, you're Austrian. Don't give us away like you did to them in Italy.
Despite the fact that many of them don't even understand the significance of the markers. Speaking of mountains and hikes, let's talk about the physical geography.
Oh yeah, physical geography wise though, guys, I think in the past on this channel I did react to like 10 crazy things in Austria or whatever, but some of the views that I saw were amazing. The Alps help, of course, but like the country just has so much beauty, natural beauty, that I'm very excited to see.
As mentioned before, about 3/4 of Austria is mountainous, with the Alps dominating the center and western parts of the country. These mountains are the characterizing segments that give Austria its distinct national identity, both historically and culturally. In short, even though the vast majority of people in Austria live in the low-lying plains around the mountains, Austria would not be Austria without the Alps. These mountains can actually be quite quirky, almost with minds of their own. For example, every spring in the Hochschwab Mountains and forests on the east side of the Alps, the snowmelt from the mountains completely engorges the Grüner See, or the Green Lake, engulfing the entire park with trees and benches underneath it. These mountains also provide the perfect setting for Austria's favorite sport, skiing. The problem though is that although these mountains are very beautiful, they do kind of make a lot of the country uninhabitable or difficult to cultivate. Although 40% of the land is covered in forests, less than 20% of the land is arable. And for the record, yes, The Sound of Music was filmed in parts of Austria. No, not everybody has seen or even cared about seeing that movie. Of course, the mighty Danube River.
The two things in Austria being called like similar to Germans, and then, oh, The Sound of Music was filmed there. And I'm guilty of saying both of those things. I know it does your head in, and you guys are probably tired of hearing that. So I'm sorry. That's a beautiful picture though. Wow.
Flows through the northern part of the country and has historically played a vital role in Austria's economy and trade sector, especially after the construction of the Rhine-Main-Danube River Canal back in 1992, which allows ships to finally pass from the North Sea through Europe into the Balkans and ending into the Black Sea. The low-lying areas of eastern Austria have nice grassy hills and plains, perfect for cattle raising and of course dairy production, where some of the classiest Austrian cheeses are produced. Now of course Austria's economy is not really that heavily based on agriculture, but rather services and industry, specifically in engine and medication manufacturing. But who does all the manufacturing? Let's find out in demographics.
Okay.
You know, as the home country of Mozart, Austria still kind of lives up to its classy expectation. Austria has a population of about 8.5 million, about 90% of whom are ethnically Austrian, and 10% from other nations, mostly from Germany and the former Yugoslavian states such as Hungary, Serbia, and Bosnia, with an influx of Turkish people having immigrated over the past few decades. The reason why there are so many Eastern Europeans in Austria has somewhat to do with the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Habsburg dynasty, which was one of the most pivotal monarchies that shaped the entire course of European history in every corner, from Spain to France, England to Russia, and so on. The Habsburgs even took over Mexico for a short period of time. That's how powerful these people were. Yes, Austrians speak German, however, rule number one, do not call them German. They're kind of reluctant to even tell you that they speak German, and would be very quick to point out that it's Austrian German, not German German. The language has a very distinct vocabulary, a lot of the words influenced from Eastern European nation words, and they also have their own standard dictionary set apart from the German and Swiss dictionaries. The dialects can change drastically in Austria. Sometimes it only takes about 40 kilometers traveling inward until you reach an area that has a completely different accent. And don't even get started on those Liechtensteiners. In contrast to Germans, Austrians like to define themselves as more soft-spoken and reserved. They don't like to upset anybody, and courtesy is very highly expected in this country. Educational accomplishments and achievements are very highly prized in Austria. One thing Austrians do kind of obsess over, though, are titles. They prefer to be addressed by every title that they've obtained for themselves, even if it equates to like 15 titles. Mr., Dr., Chairman, Vice CEO, Chairman Otto von Schnitzelbach Krakengeschäftmeier.
Why not just pick a principal title and stick with that? The best one, you know? That's a little excessive in my opinion. But again, it's from a video. I don't know if that's how it really is. And that may just be the pretentious people in Austria. Or everyone's pretentious and I just upset everyone. I don't know. Austrians seem really chill though. That's my
Yo,
opinion.
Chairman Otto von Schnitzelbach talking Geschäftsmeier. One thing that Austrians will tell you that they really like to do is just taking simple walks, whether it's just for an hour to clear their head,
Nice.
and in any weather, whether it's great or whether it's raining. They even have a word for it, spazieren. Don't be surprised if an Austrian invites you to just go for a walk. Go with it. They're a little bit
love
more
that.
conservative in their politics, which can possibly be attributed to the growing elderly population. However, the youth have always been known to ruffle up a few controversy feathers here and there. I mean, the winner of last year's Eurovision contest was an Austrian drag queen with a beard. They keep things a little bit on the down low, however, once every so often, one notable figure comes and shines through, like Christopher Waltz and everyone's favorite bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger, which, by the way, contrary to some stupid rumors, no, the last name Schwarzenegger does not have a racist connotation behind it. It literally just means the person from Schwarzen. Schwarzen meaning black, Ega meaning soil, black soil, fertile soil. It basically just means the place of the fertile soil. The family is descended from a long line of prosperous farmers, which is what the name refers to. Case closed! Speaking of relationships, let's talk about the friend zone.
Friend zone.
In the simplest way I can put this is kind of what Austria's relationships kind of look like. Now shut up and dance with me! Pretty much all of Austria's best friends have some kind of a love-hate relationship with them, but love always wins in the end. It's kind of crazy too, because in the nicest, softest way I can put this, Austria did kind of start or influence both world wars. World War I with the attacks from the Empire on Serbia after the Archduke was assassinated, and World War II because, well, I mean, Hitler was kind of born in Austria. I mean, no Austria, no Hitler. To this day, Austria
Why does he look so cute? That's terrible. Bro looks so cute.
neutral in their affairs and lies in a very no Austria, no Hitler. To this day, Austria is incredibly neutral in their affairs and lies in a very interesting alliance limbo as they have neither joined NATO or the Warsaw Pact. But enough on that. In regards to their eastern neighbors, because of the whole Austro-Hungarian Empire, Austria and many of the other Central and Balkan states like the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and so on have close ties to Austria, even though historically they had lots of drama under the Habsburg dynasty. But hey, it was either the Habsburgs or the Ottomans, and they hated the Ottomans. In regards to Italy, Italy has always been a huge trade partner, but of course, like mentioned before, the whole South Tyrol region thing kind of causes a little bit of tension. They aren't going to war or anything, but Austria is kind of like, look, Italy, I mean, come on. Everybody there is Austrian. In terms of their best friends, Austria would kind of reluctantly say Germany, but more specifically Bavaria, the region of South Germany. Bavarians and Austrians are very similar in their culture and tradition. Some Austrians will tell you that because they get along so well, Bavaria is said to be the 10th Bundesland, or state, of Austria, although Bavaria alone has more inhabitants than the whole of Austria. You know all that stereotypical lederhosen and dirndl costume stuff that you see on all those Oktoberfest commercials? Yeah, that's kind of what you would attribute to Bavarian and somewhat Austrian culture, but they only do that on special occasions. I mean, if it was up to me, I would wear that stuff 24/7, but hey, to each his own. In conclusion, Austria is kind of like the country that secretly changed the entire course of all of European history right under our noses without us even knowing about it. Here's one more picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and get ready because Azerbaijan is coming up next.
Oh, Azerbaijan. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I definitely would say Austria is a slept-on country. Like, you don't really hear about it too much. It's not really a big, well, it's pretty big, like, in terms of size, but population, only 8 million. Pretty sure Germany is 80 million. Oh, God, I'm sorry for mentioning them again. Oh, I'm going to have to not do that when I'm visit Austria. It's really hard not to, though. But yeah, guys, I'm very excited to visit. If there's Austrians watching this, like I said, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss the vlogs, first impressions, all of that. So yeah, that was a nice video. Got some historical information about Austria, how it came to be, and I'm hyped to meet the Austrians this summer. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.